Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to the maiden edition of Lattice. It is good to be here, and I'm glad that you're all here. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, by the way. Depending on where you're joining us from, that would be nice to know. Actually, if you're joining us, you can actually use the comments section just to your right. Let us know. Let us get to know you and where you're joining us from this morning. It is good to be here. We have quite a number of people joining us today, and it definitely will be interesting to know where you're joining us from. So I know most people will be perhaps be joining us from Lagos, but if you're outside of Lagos, let us know where else you're joining us from today. Once again, I welcome you. It's going to be an amazing time, a time where we're going to be having a wonderful conversation uh, during this event. Like I said, this is the maiden edition of Lattice, and Lattice is an initiative of Stanbic IBTC pension managers. Lattice simply means Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series. And of course, as the name connotes, is to empower and inspire women. So if you're looking to be empowered, challenged, and inspired, you are at the right place. Today, we've got two phenomenal speakers who will be breaking tables, not just shaking them. They'll be breaking tables, with the conversations we'll be starting today. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'll be your host during this event. My name is Ronke Giwa Onofuwa. I'll be hosting this event, and I'm really proud to as well. As of course, I am proud to affiliate with Stanbic IBTC. Let me tell you a bit about our host, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers Limited, a licensed pension fund administrator set up with the primary objective of delivering quality pension fund administration and management services to you, our wonderful, lovely customers. So it's good to have you here at the Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series, the Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series, and I can assure you it's going to be and I'm also right bang on time. Okay, fantastic. All right, we've got Dr. Cheetah from Abuja as well. Nora Onoha joining from PHC, that's Port Harcourt. Phenomenal. So we've got people from all across the country. Someone's from Edo here. Thank you, Momo Munirat, for joining us. Oyenuga Olufunke, I believe, from Lagos. Lami is joining us from Abuja as well. So we have people from all across the world and all across the country. So thank you so much for joining us in this maiden edition of Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series. And this table, don't worry, at the end of it, we're not going to break it completely. Still going to be here, but there's definitely some tables we will be shaking. So we're going to move on real quickly to listen to an opening remark. And of course, the welcome address is going to be given by the Executive Director, Business Development, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. So you can use the comment section to clap, even though we might not hear you, but at least we can see you. So please clap for Nike Bajomo as she welcomes us with her address. Good to have you here, Nike.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Good morning to our speakers, Mrs. Tolu Agiri and Mrs. Shiris Ijewere. We're very happy to have you, and thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm grateful for everyone who has taken time of their busy schedule to join us today. And so on behalf of Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers Limited, it gives me great joy to welcome you all to the debut session of the Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series, Lattice, the very first of what promises to be a hugely successful and empowering series. Today, our conversations will be centered around balancing career success and personal wellness. I believe some of you would wonder why we're going through this topics again. In the last 2 years, we might say that the topic has been considerably overflowed, but we feel that with the new environment, with our new normal, things are dynamic and things are constantly changing, and it's important that as women, we are able to be on top of our game and ensure that we have the right, tools and the right, ways to address these challenges that we constantly face. And so we consider this theme to be timely and strategic as it aligns with a period where many of us continue to explore creative ways to adapt to the new normal. The pandemic took a significant toll on women as many of us had to suddenly balance our roles as nurturers with showing up every day to our jobs with our A game intact while dealing with all the challenges associated with the new realities. Ladies, we deserve a rousing standing ovation. Well done for staying the course and coming out strong. At Stanbic IBTC, women's empowerment is a priority. We consistently create avenues that encourage the growth of our women. We absolutely believe that there are opportunities for every type of woman to thrive and to blossom. Therefore, at today's meeting conference, we would hear from seasoned professionals who would share their insights and experiences with us on how we can excel amid all the changes and at the same time ensure that we live a healthy life. They are here to provide tips and methods that have worked for them and could work for us as we brace up to achieve our audacious goals. When the session ends, we hope to have positively impacted and supported you to go to your dreams and become an even better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. Once again, I welcome you very warmly to this event. Invite the women in your circle who are yet to connect, and let's move forward together. And remember, ladies, we rock. We make the world go round. Thank you.
Thank
Over
you
to
very
you,
much,
Nika.
Nike Bajama. Thank you very much. Yes, we do rock. And yes, you still have time. So if you want to send the registration link or the link to the event to anyone you know who would benefit from this, I think you can do that real quickly, because I think we have something in store for you. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And would love as many people as possible to benefit from this. In a moment, we're going to be taking a poll, and I'd like everyone to participate because we have gifts for the first 20 people, actually. So I want you to jump at that poll as much as possible. It's really just to navigate the event in a way that everyone leaves here feeling like they got something. All right, so the poll is going to pop up in a moment. It's on you, right, just on your the right-hand side of your screen as well. So the poll is live. It's going to be up for 60 seconds only. So please go on to the poll section. And I'd love you to fill it in real quickly. It's going to be live for only 60 seconds. Please do this real quickly. And the question is, how would you rate your work-life balance since the pandemic? How would you rate your work-life balance since the pandemic? All right, we've got about 40 seconds left, so please go on real quickly. So has it been awesome? You have more time to yourself. That's option A. There's been no difference. If that's you, you can click on option 2. If it's been really bad and you're barely surviving, I'd like you to click on option 3. All right, so there you go. I've actually clicked in mine. So we can see the result very quickly. So please go on. We've got about 20 seconds left. We'd love you to take advantage of this and fill the poll real quickly. Like I said, there's gifts, something to give away for 20 people who participate in this poll. All right, just poll is about to end. All right, okay. All right, thank you very much. You can do that real quickly. Fantastic. All right, we've got our results in. For 50% of the people here, you say it's been awesome. You have more time to yourself. That's really good. That's really good. About 62 people voted. There's been no difference. So for you, it's been, just the normal. All right, that's about 29% of the people here. And then 21% say it's been really bad. You're barely surviving. And I'm sure there are quite a number of people that can relate. I know there are moments during the pandemic as well that I felt like I was drowning. So, and I'm really glad that you're here, especially the people who have felt like they've been barely surviving. The women who are going to be speaking during this event have phenomenal life stories. I mean, they've conquered demons, and there's nothing, lessons don't resonate with you as much as when it's coming from someone who's walked the walk, you know. All right, so the gift is also for those who participate. There's going to be another poll at the end of the session, so that's why it's important for you to wait till the end. All right, please do not leave midway. There's going to be one more poll coming just at the end. Would love you to participate there as well. And the first 20 people, we're going to select 20 people to get a really nice, lovely, tidy gift. All right, so like I said, we have phenomenal guests, phenomenal women who will be speaking here today, and their story will definitely encourage you, will inspire you, and challenge you for your next level. So I'm excited for you, the people who have been having it really tough. I'm really excited for you. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to introduce my first speaker now, and she's going to be telling us her story and sharing about career, balancing a career and life generally. And like Nick Ebajomo said, some people may feel like, oh, we've said this so many times, but there are people who are still struggling. So it's important to continue to have this conversation. And our next speaker will be doing justice to this topic. Her career spanned national and international roles over 28 years, both as HR consultant and practitioner. And she's worked as regional training manager, Unilever Africa Regional Group, Learning Director, Africa, Middle East and Turkey, at AMET, Leadership Development Director at AMET. And she joined the United Nations World Food Programme based in Johannesburg, South Africa in May 2016 as a Senior Strategic Regional Human Resources Business Partner for Southern Africa. Now she left the UN to join InterSwitch Group as the Group Chief Human Resources Officer in March 2018. And when she's not working, she enjoys time with family, mentoring young women as well. Please clap in the comment section for our first speaker, Mrs. Tolulope Agiri. You're welcome, Mrs. Agiri.
Thank you, Ronke. Can I just confirm that thank you. Thank you, Ronke. And thanks for that intro. Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Excited to be able to not just share insights, but also take some insights back because of the conversations that we are going to be having any minute from now. I thought I would start with what I consider to be my own self story. I thought I would start with what I consider to be my own self story. And following what Ronke had said, I wanted to put my own spin on it. I like to introduce myself very, very quickly as a Jesus lover, a wife and a mom, an HR professional, and a storyteller. And what that means, therefore, is that life is not exactly as easy or as simple as we would all love it to be. I've got different things happening in life at the same time. And eventually, it does mean that things are complicated. Things are complicated. My context is complicated. The journey I've been through is complicated. And the rest of my time of talking can only be relevant if I scope that context very properly. And without repeating exactly what Ronke said, I've had 28 years of work. 7 of those 28 years have been in South Africa, so out of the country. I am a mother of 2 young adults now. A few years ago, I would have introduced them as kids, and they would ask me, where are the kids here? Because they don't consider themselves to be kids. The jobs I've had outside Nigeria also have given me the opportunity to do a lot of travel. And what that has meant, therefore, is that I have not been home as much as I would have loved to be home. I have missed quite a few events. I've been through some tears, some of them manipulative, when I need to travel, and I've got people at home wondering, are you really going to go again? So in my travels, to just paint the picture of how hectic and complex and complicated and all that context has been for me, I've done work in about 30 countries, either attending meetings, running projects, or things like that. So the context that I paint is my own context, but I'm sure for younger women on the line this afternoon, probably even older women, your context may be different, but more often than not, our contexts are usually complicated. And if you look at this set of statistics shared by the World Economic Forum, just to paint the picture that what makes life complex for the woman is not just what's happening in their lives, it's also what happens in the world. The fact that not many firms have majority female ownership, not many have female top managers, not enough have females in senior roles. So the context is quite complicated, and therefore it begs the question, why do we keep talking about this? Because the context is still complicated, and we have not found the Uhuru answers, the been there, done that answers. We haven't yet found those answers. Sheryl Sandberg, in her book, and I do like to bring this up every time I have an opportunity, she cites an experiment, and you can read what's on the screen. But in general, the same attributes written on paper, one set of attributes given a male name, the second set of attributes given a female name, and people asked to react to these leaders. As would happen, a lot of people appreciated the fact that these leaders were good leaders, but they saw the guy as more amiable. And again, I paint the context about what happens in the woman's life, and the fact that it does look, a lot of times that the cards are actually stacked up against the woman, plus the other things that happen in the woman's life. Then I get to the point where I then ask the question, with all the complexities and the social norms and what culture dictates as appropriate, the question is, can anyone have it all? And what I mean by that is, can you eat your cake, have it in your hands, and still have it in the fridge? I don't think so. I am one of those people. I'm a realist. I am an optimist, but I also like to look at things very realistically. Can a woman have it all, everything hunky-dory? I've got it sorted at work. I've got it sorted at home. Nothing is out of place. I don't think so. I think in life, we make some choices. And while things may not be perfect, I have learned to enjoy the journey as I've come along. I've learned to understand that while life is not perfect, I need to make choices. And those choices eventually affect the kind of life I live. So if I bring that down straight away to our context, can you have a great career and have a great home? I think yes, you can. But are you going to have some things suffer a little bit here and there? I think yes, the will. Because actually, you can't have more than 24 hours in a day. So the earlier you and I come to that reality, the better for us. The earlier we come to the reality of, I've got some choices to make, and those choices eventually will have consequences, the better for us. So if I look at my life, I've worked a lot and I enjoy work. So earlier on in my life, I realized that work was part of why I was here. It's part of my purpose. And therefore, and I mean corporate work, because work at home is also work. Taking care of the children at home is also work. But I realized early on that it was important for me to do something else. It was just important for me to fulfill what else was out there for me. And therefore, the choice I made around career and the support and the partnership of my husband. I think it's always important to bring that into the conversation. I'll come back to it just now. So the concept of I am working, but I also have a family and I have other things in my life to take care of. I realized earlier on that it was a choice I had to make. And I want to paint a picture for you. I've worked 28 years now. My kids are not kids anymore. They've left home. If I had made decisions in the earlier parts of my career and we can think extremes right now. If I had made decisions around, I am going to put my career on hold, I am going to do things very differently. The question is, and we may never know the answer. The question is right now, when my kids themselves have left home, and when I call them now, there are times mom is disturbing us, would I be resenting them right now if those were the choices I made? And this is not to trivialize other choices that are different from mine. It's simply to say I realized that my purpose, part of why I was here, had to do with the work that I was doing in the marketplace, and therefore, even if I can't have it all, there would be ways in which I can still enjoy my journey. It was very important for me to do that. So I think it's an illusion actually for individuals to be chasing this thing that says it must be perfect. I want it to be perfect. It looks like the other lady I know, she has it together. A lot of times, women have mastered the art of keeping it all together when actually there are issues you're dealing with. So I refer to the pandemic, as earlier talked about, the pandemic season, and the conversations I had with female colleagues of mine who work in my team. And the fact that some of them, even though they were working from home, the fact that they had to homeschool and deliver work was stressful. And again, back to the choices. And those choices could stretch to, am I going to take a maid or not? Those are choices that we all have to make. Now, when you make those choices eventually have results. So part of the results that I got, for example, in doing the things that I did and in being as busy as I was all through my career, I have been, is whether you say yes or no to a certain degree or to a certain course of study or to a certain job, you must be willing to live with the results. So if I decide, for example, that my own path is actually to be at home for the period that my kids are young, and when they leave home I can do other things, then I must be clear in my mind that that's a choice I have made, as long as it was within my control to make. That's a choice I have made, and those choices will have results ultimately. Now, one of the overflogged aspects of being able to synergize between work and life, being able to create harmony, almost like a well-rehearsed song or a well-rehearsed orchestra, one of the major things that has been talked about is the support system that women need to have. Now, in my own case, inadvertently I created this support system, but it only made sense to me as I looked backwards. So I remember the first time that I got the opportunity to go work outside the country, because that was major for me. Two things I did very, very naively. When I got the call to say, oh, you got the job and you will be moving to South Africa, the first thing I said to my boss at that point was, I will check with my husband if that's okay. So she looked at me like, are you normal? You met many people in this organization. Some of them have never had this opportunity. Some of them would kill to have this opportunity you have. What do you mean? The truth is, I've decided for my own journey that it's important for me to maintain harmony, both at home, and at home includes my children, includes my marriage, and at work. And therefore, packing up my bags and relocating abroad was not a decision that I was going to take. In other words, my husband is part of my support system. In fact, he's part and parcel of my support system. Part and parcel of my support system. It was also important for me to understand at this point in time, my kids were really young. I think one of them was 5, maybe another one 3. It was important for me to have a carer that would have my mind. And again, I went back and I asked the question, would I be able to take my mom with me? And even though I didn't know what I was doing at that point in time, I looked backwards much later and it made sense. What I was doing ultimately was checking with my employer. Are you going to support me to be able to do this job well? So as it so happened, I got the kind of support I required from my husband, and I got the right support also from the organization to have my mom come with me. That was a critical success factor for me. There's no way I could have done a job that big and that hectic if I did not have someone like my mother to be with the children. So in other words, what I'm saying is this: every woman that is ambitious must intentionally, some of us didn't do this intentionally, but you must intentionally create a support system for yourself. That includes your partner, if you're not married. That includes people in your circle. It includes your girlfriends, people that you can go to vent at, people you can take advice from in an unashamed way, people you can rely on for caring for the children. It also includes your mentors, your allies. That support system is critical. Any woman that is ambitious must have that support system. In some cases, the support system also means an investment. It means you need to make an investment in technology. You need to make an investment in people that help you do the things that you cannot do when you need to do them. So support system is very critical. And I think also as part of that support system, it's very, very critical that you bring the men in your life into the conversation. And if I take this to an organizational level, a few years ago in my other life, in one of the jobs I've done in the past, when we were launching a women's network, one of the critical things we did at that point was actually to get male sponsors. Because usually, when a woman is looking at things in a certain way, it's always beneficial to see the perspective of the man in the perspective, in the bigger perspective that you're trying to build. The other thing that is so critical is the choice of a life partner. And this is not a marriage seminar, but if there are young ladies on the line this morning, who are thinking, I am ambitious, I want to sit in that C-suite, and I still want to have a good home, the choice of your life partner is a very strategic one. Right from the time that you are dating, courting, going out, whatever you call it, you can actually begin to sense if a man will be supportive of your ambition or if he won't be. Many, many, many times in my life, I have had to go back to this and really be grateful that I did what I did, and my partner is who he is. The fact that when I'm traveling, it's not a big deal. In fact, there was a period in our lives, for the sake of the children, that my husband actually packed up his job here in Nigeria to join us in South Africa while I continued to do my work. And for him at that point in time, it was stressful, but he was able to do it for over a year. And it was okay. It was okay because that was a family decision. So my perspective has always been, if you chose to get married under a certain faith, then you must be subject to the conditions of that marriage. And in my own faith, I'm a Christian. A woman is a helper, is a helpmeet, because there must be one driver in the home. There can't be two drivers. And I subscribe to that 120%, and that's the way I've lived my life. The question is, will I do this differently? If with all the work I've done, if I had to go back and do this again and do the career thing again, would I do this differently? The answer is yes, I would. I would do this a bit differently. And one of the things I would do differently is that I would make some big asks or big demands. I would be more audacious in the way that I go about my career, such that I would be able to probably have involved my family and my children better. And I share a personal story here. In my first time around in South Africa, when I was leaving, when my 5 years were up and I was coming back home, I remember I had a meeting to attend in Israel, and my kids had something to do at school. And that was the first time actually that I thought, you know what, this is going to be their last event in the school they were attending in South Africa before we then relocated back to Nigeria. I wouldn't be able to make this meeting in Israel. I then requested an opportunity to join the meeting virtually, which was granted. Voila. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Why did I think I was physically required at every single meeting? Why did I think my employer would not be supportive of me doing work in other ways? So my point is this. If you are in demand, I think you can make demands. And as women, research says that women usually do not negotiate for themselves. Women, because of our empathetic nature, we usually negotiate for other people. And I'm sure you can relate to that in your different jobs. You negotiate for a subordinate, you negotiate for a friend, but you don't think of negotiating for yourself. It's high time that we did that. Negotiate for yourself, think about your situation, and think about how your partners, your support system, or even your employer can help you make things work better. There's a word I came across about a year ago, and it's giandros. And essentially what it's saying is a woman should learn to realize that they do have female attributes, and those female attributes are not to be trivialized. They're actually to be championed and exploited, but a woman should also learn to use or borrow some male attributes. Things like women usually put their bar lower than men. How about you raise that bar? Women usually would go into a negotiation apologizing. How about you don't do that? I remember once my husband had said to me, maybe you want to ask for a raise because of your increase in your portfolio. And I thought, would that be okay? And when I called my boss to then go, I'm thinking maybe I deserve some more money. I was very apologetic. He didn't even let me finish. He apologized for not realizing it earlier, and he increased my pay, and he also backdated it. So it sort of feels to me that at this point in time, while you would have female leaders being more ambitious, being more successful also than we've been in the past, it's important that you intentionally look at your style, reflect on what aspects of life can I actually begin to negotiate. Things around flexible working, things around remote working, things around doing work in a different way, such that you yourself, you take ownership of your synergy and you actually begin to make things work. As I wrap this up, I think there are responsibilities on both sides of the divide. I think as women, we must accept the fact that our situations are probably a little more complicated than it is for men because of things that have to happen in our lives. You take time off to get pregnant and have the baby. You have to be there for the children, attend most of the PTAs and things like that. You have to accept that. But the same way you accept that is the way you also have to think about self-managing and not outsourcing that. But while that is on one side, there's also the bit about the organization supporting the synergy at a policy level. Things around relooking maternity policies, ensuring that women can actually begin to actively think about what they can do differently, drafting a new kind of leadership, having the conversation around what needs to happen for women and men equally to have that level of synergy in their lives. I think I must mention the fact that I have assumed the cultural norms in Nigeria as an example to be generic, but I do know that in some families, it's actually not that generic and things are a bit mixed up, and I want to appreciate that. Now, and I think this is my last slide, the question I'd like to leave you with is this, because I think this particular question helps you to position things better in your mind. What should your life or your CV look like in 10 years? What should your life or your CV look like in 10 years? If you're able to think about that and then you walk backwards, the choices you need to make today will be easier. The health choices, the work choices, the life choices, what do you do when the kids leave home and things like that. So on that note, therefore, I'd like to say thank you, and I hand over back to our amiable moderator, Ronke. Thank you.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal. I can assure you that a lot of people are still there trying to soak all of that in, as I am, because there are a lot of truths she shared there. Thank you very much, Mrs. Tolu Agiri. That was amazing. And I can see, I applaud all of the people who are already in the Q&A section, because they're not even allowing you to finish. They're already bombarding you with questions. And I totally love that. It means that you came prepared. Oftentimes when we find that there's an opportunity somewhere, we go there because we just think, okay, but then you have to go prepared. Even if you're going for an interview, whatever, you're going for an event, go prepared to know what you want to learn. And I can see that so many people here have come prepared, and it's phenomenal. I see all of your questions. Some of the questions I'd like to address real quickly. A few of you say, how can we get the recording? Don't worry, we'll let you know how you can get the recording. So just stay here, stay with us, because also we're going to be rewarding you depending on how engaging you are during this event. So engaging being how you engage the polls, how you ask questions, and then we have a survey, feedback survey at the end of this as well. So everyone who's been engaging or who engages, all of this platforms would definitely, 10 people will get something, about 10 or 20 people will get something. So engage in every way that you can. The polls, the feedback survey, ask questions, take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity, because I'm not sure how easy it is to access Mrs. Tolulope Aguirre. So the fact that she's here and she's spilling all these gems, I mean, for me, I know I'm definitely not going to live here the same way. All right, so please engage, engage, engage. And amazing. We have over almost 800 people here at this event. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So thank you all once again for joining. All right, so we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, our second speaker will be up. And of course, she'll be talking to us about nutrition, our health. That's also going to be another phenomenal conversation we'll be having. So don't forget, we have a Q&A segment after this. If you notice that the talks are short, it's because we want to give time for questions. And as you can see, you're already, almost 1,000 people already. Oh, phenomenal. And as you can see, we're already being flooded with questions in the Q&A segment. So please go to the Q&A section, put your questions in there, and then I'm sure that we'll do justice to them after. So we'll take a short commercial break. And then after this, I'll introduce our second speaker. Don't go away.
Sorry, wait, excuse me, sir. I'm looking for number 2 Johnson Street.
Oh, Johnson Street.
Yes.
That's quite simple.
Oh, okay.
Now you just go straight on longitude 155, longitude 155. Now take a 360-degree turn and turn left. Then turn right on latitude 379. Are you following? Face the south. Face the south and transverse the trajectory. At that point, you would notice a newly old turning. Take the sharp turn, and at that turn at angle 90, and boom, you are in Johnson Street. You can't miss it.
At Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, we believe the journey ahead should be simple. Let our experienced managers support you. Switch to Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers today. Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, a member of Standard Bank Group.
Every time I watch that commercial, it's just hilarious. It really doesn't have to be that difficult or complicated. So please do yourself a favor. Simplify the rest of your life, and please go to Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. They will definitely make it simple for you. Imagine him saying, take a longitude this and longitude that. Really doesn't have to be that complicated. All right, so please do the right thing and engage someone at Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. Okay, so I know you're itching to hear about my next speaker. And our next speaker is going to be talking about nutrition and wellness. And that is super important because you could totally have the best career in the world, have a fantastic life. But we all know, especially I think that's what this pandemic really taught us, that we're really all just human and we must take care of ourselves. Our mental health, our physical health is super, super important. So that's why we added this segment, because it's great to have a great career, but it's also great to be well, to be happy, and to be alive. So our next speaker is the founder, CEO of Carib Health Limited, a health, wellness, and nutrition company. She's also a co-founder of the Nutrition Hospital. She's a professional nutrition consultant, certified and clinically trained with 18 years plus experience, and practices medical nutrition therapies. Now, she's written several health columns for This Day newspaper, Guardian Life, and magazines including TW, Woman Leader, Parenting Magazine, just to name a few. You can hear on radio on 92.3 FM Inspiration FM and also 98.1 Smooth FM. She's been featured on magazine programs on channels TV, NTA, and Silverbird. Cherise Ijiwere is passionate about educating you on having a better life through nutrition. So please clap in the comment section for Mrs. Cherise Ijiwere. You're welcome. Good to have you here, Cherise.
Thank you so much, Ronke. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. Good morning, everyone. Quite a delight to be with you all today. Today, I will be sharing a lot. I do hope you all have your pen, your notebooks. Okay, so our befitting topic today is the genius of the extraordinary chromosome. And really, when I saw this topic, I just thought, you know what, this is amazing. Whoever came up with this extraordinary chromosome, which really represents the female gender. Because of course, one, we're multitaskers, we're talented, we're nurturers, we're beautiful, and we are just extraordinary, of course. So whether you are in different fields, whether it's you're a new mom, you're new in your career, you're middle age, you're a senior, how do we really keep up through self-care? And today we're sharing quite a bit with you on this. Now, just a little bit about our company. Our focus at The Nutrition Hospital and also at Carib Health is all about wellness. Some of our services on the right include nutrition consultations, medical consultations, wellness consultations. So don't wait to be sick to come. Even though you're in that state of well-being, you want to stay in that state. We do help people with preventing disease, reversing disease. We have many different wellness therapies and rehab services and different cares. So our philosophy is really treat the cause, reverse the disease. Now, today I want you all to just take a deep breath, really slow down. As women, we do a lot. And as I said earlier, we're multitaskers. It's important that you must focus on taking care of yourself. Just breathe in and breathe out. And you take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. That's really important. Now, this particular picture on this slide, I would love everyone to take a picture of it. This diagram is called the wellness tree. And this wellness tree, you will learn about the 5 roots of wellness, which is at the bottom of the tree. Spiritual, mindset, nutrition, lifestyle, and environment. Now, when there is imbalance in the roots of this tree, which this tree represents your body, when there's imbalance, that's when we see ailments showing up. And ailments could range from obesity, autoimmune disorder, diabetes, depression, asthma, cholesterol issues. So many things can pop up, cancer as well, but we really want to aim for balance. And the balance is in the middle of the tree, which is wellness. Today, we're going to fast forward and give you quite a few tips. We just have short time to do this. So our outline today, I've spoken about the pillars of wellness, the 5 pillars. We are going to go into nutrition as self-care, mindfulness, listening to your body, giving you some practical tips before we get to the Q&A. So nutrition as self-care, and this is something that sometimes people don't think of often. When we think of self-care, we're thinking massage, we're thinking let's go and travel, but this nutrition is feeding your body, really giving your body what it needs. So let's get right into it. When we look at this picture in particular, where do you see yourself? Are you on the left side of this diagram where you're eating a lot of processed foods? Or are you on the right side of the diagram where you are intentional, organic, whole food, plant-based? And as you're looking at this diagram, what percentage are you really taking in during your day, during your week? Are you taking in more of the bread, the biscuits, the fried foods, the meats, the soft drinks, the outside food? Or are you actually packing your lunch, you're being mindful, you're ensuring that you eat your vegetables every day, your root tubers, your herbs and spices, you're just being conscious of everything? That's a question for you to answer personally. What is the percentage? Are you more on the left or are you more on the right? Remember, we're all about self-care. So nutrition and self-care. Good nutrition is self-care because your relationship with food has the ability to impact every aspect of you. You with your emotions, yourself in terms of your body, and who you are to others. And I'll explain this a little further. So who you are to you and yourself. And we're talking about your mood, your behavior. A quick story. There was a school in the US that served a lot of fast food, junk food. And when we looked at the behavior of these children were getting in trouble all the time. They had police on the campus just because of the violent behaviors. And so the school board and the Nutrition Society had a plan and a program where they changed the school's menu. And just from changing the school's menu, the children were calmer, they had less violent outbursts. There was only now one unarmed escort or police there. It was just a change. So food affects your behavior. Food also affects your eyes, your vision, your hormones. And whether we're talking about you being on an acidic diet or an alkaline diet, it has so many different effects on the body. It affects your things like your hormones, whether you have fibroids, the severity of your menses, whether you're trying to even achieve pregnancy, quality of the cervical mucus, and then so many others, heart disease, liver disease, quite a few others. And then who are you to yourself and others? This is something that many of you have experienced with your coworkers. Maybe you go in the morning and somebody is just snappy with you for no reason. That's something that sometimes connects to food. As far as if your colleague is irritable, maybe you should ask, did you have too much sugar today? Or have you moved your bowels? Because if your blood sugar is high, if you're constipated and so forth, this also affects your mood. And if you find that maybe your coworkers are feeling sleepy in a meeting, you can ask them, have you drank your water today? Are you drinking enough water? This is nutrition and self-care. We also think of mindfulness, connecting to your food, no distraction, really savoring the taste, recognizing if you're truly hungry, because many times you're not hungry. You may just need to have some hydration as far as water. Are you being aware of the flavors of your food? Are you chewing your food well? How mindful are you? And this brings us to mindful eating. Are you eating with intention and attention? Because they're two different things. Intention is caring for yourself. And that means whether you are caring for your skin, for your weight, for aging, you're trying to reverse disease, you have to be deliberate. You must be intentional, no matter what age you are. And that's when we say, seek the help of a Carib Health nutritionist. We are readily available. And when it comes to paying attention, you're paying attention to noticing if you're enjoying the food, the effects it has on your body. How are you feeling 15 minutes after eating, 60 minutes after eating? Many of you would say, well, sometimes after eating, I feel exhausted, I feel fatigued, I feel like I just need to go and lie down. That's food and connection, what's really going on with the body and how it interacts with food. Okay, so I'm going to give you some practical tips really quickly. 10 practical tips. So write this down. Number 1 is listen to your body. It is smarter than you. So whether you have a headache, you have body pain, back pain, you're lightheaded, you need to pay attention, slow down, and listening to your body may mean that yes, you may need a bit of help, whether it's through the medical doctor and them then referring you to a nutritionist. Number 2, another practical tip is visceral fat. Write this down. Do you all realize for women, our waist size should be no more than 35 inches? And for men, no more than 40 inches? When you go home, or if you're home now, take a tape measure. And if it is that it's more than that, you can call us and we can help you with losing weight. Because visceral fat is one of those fats that you just don't want to have around the stomach area. It causes an imbalance in the roots. It also causes things like obesity, fatty liver, diabetes, and that's just to name a few. Number 3, if you cannot eat it, don't cream it. And what do I mean by that? Your skin is very porous. So whatever it is that you're putting on your skin also circulates around your body, circulates into the blood vessels. Read your ingredients. This one slide is on spirulina, and spirulina is something that is a superfood, is excellent for both outside the body and then also putting on the body. Reading your ingredients. Tip number 4. Are we reading our ingredients? Whether this is for yourself, whether this is for your children. Children are smart. Take them along. Biscuits, chips, processed foods. Read your ingredients. What you see on this screen is not food. This is just chemical that adds to disease. Tip number 5. Healthy feminine pads. One question that we have often really, and something for you to ponder on, is, are we buying cancer? We do have a presentation on this. Of course, we'll save that for another day. But this is just to make you all aware of feminine care products, whether it is your pads, your tampons, your lotions, your face creams, your deodorants, your whatever it is that you use as cosmetics. Check out the ingredients. And this is one of the flyers that you'll see on our Instagram page and also on our website, so that you can just look at it in more detail. Many of these things we're using, chemicals, the function of the chemical, and what they are found in, even as basic as white. There are alternatives. There are recyclable, reusable feminine pads, and these are things that you can also just wash, just as you wash your pants. And this is because so many of our young ladies are coming up with yeast infections, other vaginal infections. It's just so important to make sure you are aware of everything that goes in and on your body, and especially in those private parts. Tip number 6, ways to make self-care a part of every meal. We speak about vegetables all the time. Also, make sure you're setting an example for your household. Use herbs and spices. Ensure that you're eating vegetables so you can stay regular. Increase your water intake and read your labels. Tip number 7, eat your 5 a day, whether it's 3 fruits, 2 vegetables, 2 vegetables, 3 fruits. Ensure that you're getting this in daily, and make sure you're eating what's in season. What's in season also has all the macro, micro, phytonutrients that the body needs. Really, really important, especially for those of you who are having hormonal issues, whether you're in the menopausal stage, your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, all of those need to be in balanced levels. And so when you look at what's in season, this does help, but you want to ensure that you're taking this and you're being deliberate about it. Practical tips, of course, do your part. Definitely get a customized meal plan from us, Carib Health. Healthy options, switching out rice for something else is a possibility. Something healthier, meal prep, sticking to a schedule. This is all about self-care. Sleep and hydration, very, very important. And then also a tip for you, number 8, you can go to your local farmers market. There is an organic farmers market in everyone's neighborhood. You just have to look out for it. It is there. Tip number 9, your water intake is crucial. 2 to 3 liters a day. Those of you who don't like water, you can infuse it. Infuse it with either mint or lemon or fruit, whatever it is. Water is essential for the body. Just a bit of dehydration can make you quite ill and irritable. Last but not least, tip number 10, sleep and love yourself. It's important that you wind down, that you take a break and make self-care number 1 for you. And if you all will just permit me to just recap on the practical tips for those of you who are just joining, practical tips of eating your 5 a day, being proactive, being mindful, having a nutritionist, very important because they're able to look at your history, a Carib Health nutritionist, of course, look at your history, put together a meal plan, and also follow up with you to ensure that you're doing well. Eating grains that are common to where you live, i.e. Nigeria. Deep breathing is important. Going to sleep on time. I know this is a challenge for many. And avoiding processed foods by all means. So you don't end up with being overweight, blood pressure issues, diabetes, ulcers, cancer, just so many things that are now on the rise. Now, we do have different programs at Carib Health. And remember, I mentioned it's all about wellness. We do have a program coming up tomorrow, October 1st. And this is about mindset and mindfulness and using positivity, just helping to practicalize and focus on healthy habits. That's happening tomorrow. And then also for those of you who just need a nudge, just need a little bit of help, we do have a 30-day wellness challenge that comes up on Monday, and then also detoxification program. So to learn more about us, certainly follow us on our Instagram page, Carib Health NG, or go to our website at caribhealthgroup.com. Thank you very much, Ronke.
Wow, thank you very much, Cherise. Thank you so much. I already see the questions pouring in for Cherise as well. Thank you very, very much. This is kind of conversation we need to keep having. We talk about it all the time. Health is wealth. But oftentimes we just drop off the bandwagon sometimes. We forget. We start to, go back to the bad habits. So it's totally important to have and remind. And your questions in a bit, the moment you're waiting for is about to come. We're going to be taking your questions and answers right after this short commercial break. We'll take a short commercial break. When we come back, I see quite a number of questions. I'm hoping we can take as many as possible. But when we come back from this break, we will have a go at it. So please don't go away. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Welcome back. For those who are just joining us, I see a lot of questions asking, what are we doing here? But I'm sure if you've stayed here for 5 more minutes, then I'm sure that's no longer a question. But for those who perhaps are just joining us, you're welcome and thank you very much. You're a little late, but if you stay on to the end, we'll tell you how you can access the recording. Yes, there is a recording for all of the people that have been asking. There is a recording and we'll let you know how to stay tuned. The more engaging you are, the chances of winning something really special. All right, so I want you to be engaging. I already did a first poll. And of course, we're going to be taking questions and answers right now. We'll have another poll coming up. If we see how engaging you are, we'll pick about 10 or 20 people and they'll be going away with lovely gifts. All right, so please be as engaging as possible. We'll also have a post-event feedback or survey, would love for you to participate in as well. All right, so like I said, for those who are just joining us and are wondering, what are we doing here? We're here to empower women. We're here to start conversations that will challenge people in this forum to do better and to be better. So this is the Ladies at the Empowerment Series, Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series, also known as Lattice. All right, and it is being hosted by Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. Of course, that's why that commercial telling you all of the reasons why you definitely need to stick to Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers to make it just as seamless as possible. Yeah. Okay, so now that we're back here and we're taking your questions and answers, for those who missed Mrs. Tolu Agiri's session, that was empowering. That was totally empowering. And like I said, we'll let you know how to access the recording if you stay till the end. All right, so please stay till the end as much as possible, as long as possible. We have almost 1,000 people here, so thank you very much for everyone who's here once again. And can we have Mrs. Tolulope Agiri and Mrs. Cherise Ijiwere have been our two phenomenal speakers today, speaking on balancing your career and life generally as a woman, and of course the health angle. And I see so many questions, so I'm going to bundle the questions that are relating to this for Mrs. Tolu Agiri. You talked a lot about having a supportive husband, and it's interesting how so many women here are talking about what do you do when your husband is not supportive. I know this is not a marriage counseling session, but because there's so many questions, people asking that question. What do you do if your husband is not supportive? What do you do if your husband is actually even jealous of your career, doesn't want you to progress? Can we say you're blessed? Because not very many people are in this situation that you found yourself in, where your husband actually left his job to move to South Africa with you. I mean, what do you tell a woman in that position where her husband is not supportive, perhaps even jealous, just stunting her growth career-wise?
So Ronke, thank you for that. It's actually difficult for me to address this question without dipping back into my faith, actually, because that's what defines me. Let me use 2 seconds to quickly then appeal to the younger ladies on the line to say you are in a lot of luck. Don't make choices that you would eventually regret. If you're ambitious, make sure you're checking out the man that is going to support your ambition. I thought I should say that again. But for the woman that's already there, it's starting to feel like a marriage seminar. Wisdom is profitable to direct. So there is a lot of wisdom, because I know that some men eventually come around. And I know that some women also don't make things easy. So if you've hit success all of a sudden and you don't have the character that backs it up, it's very possible also that you are bragging it all around and beating up the man on the head. So permit me to be the advocate for the man here. The question is, you should ask yourself, what can I do differently? How can I be present at home without lording it over my husband or my partner that I am very successful and therefore I'm very busy? You are in it already. You need to make it work, especially if having a good home is priority to you. So unfortunately, there's no easy way out of this one. You do need to make it work both ways. If making it work means chilling for a while so that your husband can come to that understanding, that may be what you have to do, actually, so that you can still win on both sides, win in your marriage and win at work. There's no easy way out of this, Ronke.
Easy way out of it, but if you want it enough, you will make it work. Thank you very much. That's phenomenal. All right, so Mrs. Cherie, someone asked the question earlier. This was from Madame Lola Fajimi. And I think I thought about that too, where you're talking about eating right and doing all of that. Is eating well a luxury? Because fruits and herbs are quite expensive in this part of the world. So I don't know if Ms. Cherie can say something about that. People want to eat well. A lot of people, except a lady who said in the comment section that she doesn't like vegetables and fruits. So what can she do? So perhaps you can address that as well as, I mean, fruits are expensive. I like to eat some kind of fruits as well, but they are quite expensive. Cherise.
Okay, thank you, Ronke, and thank you everyone for all your questions. To answer that, this is something for you to ponder on. You can either pay the price up front with healthy eating, or you pay the price later when sickness shows up. So one of the things that you can do is, yes, go to a local market that's near you, make friends with the market people, so you understand where it is that they're getting these fruits and vegetables. Have a budget, have a plan, have a schedule, so you know that, okay, I'm buying these certain amounts of items so that you can incorporate it in your meals. Because if you're not eating fresh foods, eventually the body starts to age more rapidly, you start to gain weight in the midsection, and then illness eventually shows up. It's just not balanced. So you have to make an extra effort for sure.
Thank you very much, Cherise. Okay, I've got a question here from Joan David Madukwe. Mrs. Ejewere said something about food having an effect in our behavior, especially. Okay. Oh wow, the questions are coming mile per minute. It's interesting. Okay, let me see. Let me go all the way back. Okay, how do you truly balance work with life? My experience is that there's never really a balance. For the most part, one suffers. Most successful career women have gaps at home in varying degrees. I guess that's for Mrs. Tolu Agiri. You said you can't have it all.
I alluded to this earlier. The fact that actually you need to make choices, and those choices then have their consequences eventually. I don't agree that most successful women have gaps at home. There are many successful women in my circle that are making it work. They're making it work, but they're putting in the hard work. I don't think anything useful comes easy. I think most things in life, you have to work at it, you have to invest in it. So if what you're looking for is, I want a great career and I want a great home front, you must be ready to work at both. You must be ready to burn the midnight oil, even though you're not studying for your PhD. You must be ready to also have trade-offs. Aiming for ideal or perfection may not work, and therefore you may just have to decide, what is it that works for me in my career and what is it that works for me at home. So I'd like to create the sense of hope that a lot of people are making it work, even though they're very successful at work. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think let me go to one of the health questions here real quickly. Let's see. Thanks for this health session, Mrs. Cherise. How can we solve the issue of mental health? Okay, and what we eat. All right, that's one of the questions. What you eat apparently also affects your mental health. Yes, you want to say something about that?
Absolutely. So yes, what you eat affects your mental health, affects your mood, affects how you are to others. So if you're eating lots of acidic foods, and acidic foods would be things like lots of meat, processed foods, of course you're going to be irritable. You may not even be able to concentrate as much. Certainly the help of a nutritionist to help guide you and put together a meal plan to just put you on the right track. Certain foods will also make you feel down and depressed. Overeating will also sometimes do this to you as well. So just finding a balance and having some guidance from someone who is able to put you through will certainly correct things.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's go to more questions here. Let's see. Thanks, Carib Health. What type of measures would you suggest for a woman having menstrual irregularities, such as amenorrhea in her early 40s? Hey, that's back to Cherise.
Yeah.
Menstrual
That's something
irregularities.
Yes, that's something that a lot of women are going through now. And so many questions around it. Remember the 5 pillars of wellness. So the spiritual, the mindset, what's really happening in your environment as well, because not just food, but also environmental, what has the doctor said around your scans, what's really happening with the body, and can we actually put nutrients in that are elevating and, just making things more regular for you. So certainly just reach out to us for sure.
All right, thank you very much. And back to Mrs. Tolu Agiri. Someone's asking now, you mentioned while you're speaking about actually going back to renegotiate your salary. I know quite a number of people, you mentioned that as well. A lot of women do not know how to ask for more. Someone's asking here that they deserve more, they don't know how to ask for more. Are there steps you can give us to actually approaching an employer and saying, I want more? What are the keys to actually renegotiating one's salary or asking for more?
Interesting question, Runke. Thank you. And this gives me an opportunity to talk about something that I'm a fan of. I am a fan of coaching. Almost all through my career, I've always had a coach by the side. And by the way, I pay for this myself. Talk about self-management. This is not waiting for the organization to give me a coach. I approach a coach. And one of the things I've used coaches for in the past is just being able to structure conversation in a way that the other party wants to listen to me. So my personality, I understand. I've been given feedback over and over. You tend to come across too strongly. You need to temper it and all that. And therefore, I've had to be intentional about the way I come across. And I have a very good coach I've used in South Africa. Even till now, when I'm at crossroads, I go back to him. So knowing how to approach a conversation is as important as the content of the conversation. If you are not in demand and you go making demands, you may actually be working yourself out of a job. So at a point in time where you're struggling with what you're doing, you're not making impact, your appraisal is not great, and you want to negotiate more, I think you should concentrate on doing a damn good job. When you can do a damn good job, then when you want to have a conversation, your employer will listen. How do you go about it? Do your own research. So first of all, do a damn good job, excuse my French. Then do your research about what that job is attracting, or what have you done in recent times that should make your boss willing to pay you. I still will not call myself an expert at negotiating for such things, but I'm much better than I have always been because I'm intentional about the approach and also intentional about the content. So I won't go to my boss threatening to resign if you don't increase my pay. That is so crass and so not on. You don't want to do that. I won't go to my boss acting in the popular perception of women. Ooh, I'm crying. Oh God, you've been cheating me. That is not required. Go in and have a factual, unemotional conversation about the value you're bringing to the table and how you think actually that value needs to be valued differently.
Ooh, that table is finally broken. All right, she says, do a damn good job. All right, mind her French. All right, thank you very much. For those who are just joining us, this is the Q&A segment. Our speakers have spoken, and so we're taking questions from what they have said. And I think what she said now answered quite a number of questions. A lot of questions are asking, what if you work in an organization where it's a taboo to ask for a pay rise? I think she's addressed that. So thank you very much. This comment here is from Fatima Nana Obiwulu, who says, what advice, that is to Mrs. Sharice, what advice can you give to ladies who believe in using imported frozen chicken in their daily meal? Secondly, please, can you confirm if preservatives used on this chicken has negative health impact on people?
Yes, I thank you, Ronke. I actually think that question answers itself. You want to ensure that you are taking in local, so whether it's a free-range chicken or local chicken versus those that are coming in that are imported. You don't know how long they've been on the seas, what they've used to preserve them, and certainly we've seen a rise in cancers, whether it's colon cancer, stomach cancer. Just really sad. And that's why we say eat with intention and attention, because you're not only doing this for yourself, but this also affects your family. If you're gone too soon, they're the ones that suffer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Najite Christabel says, for creams who have, oh, okay, that question just jumped off. Okay, let me take another one real quickly. All of you are making this is a good problem because it means that you're engaging. So I like that. It's a good problem because the questions keep popping off as you add your questions. So thank you very much. This says, as women age, sleeping for 7 hours become a challenge. What can be done to improve this without depending on relaxant drugs to sleep? Thank you very much. Is Sherry still here?
I'm here. I didn't hear the question.
Okay. Oh, Well, she's saying as women age, it gets tougher to sleep, to get 7 hours. So how do you do that without relying on drugs, relaxants?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So there is a little regimen that you can go through. It's on our Instagram page at Carib Health NG. But just meditating, calming the mind, having things like chamomile tea, maybe having your husband massage you, even having intimacy before bed will put you to sleep as well. And then, of course, making sure that you don't eat anything heavy. If you're going to bed on a heavy stomach, you're not going to sleep well.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. This one says for Mrs. Aguirre, you mentioned utilizing a coach. I think someone also mentioned mentorship. How do you approach a mentor? So I'm going to put all of the mentorship and code questions in one. So how do you utilize a coach really? She said, I need more direction in this regard. How do I find one? How do you utilize a coach? Is there a difference between a mentor and a coach? And how do you ensure that you're getting the best out of your coach? How do you get a mentor? So all of that, like 20 questions all in one, Mrs. Aguirre.
Thank you, Ronke. I've actually used both before. A mentor usually is someone that has been through your kind of journey and is able to paint that picture for you and help you along your journey. The difference between the mentor and the coach is the coach doesn't have to have seen your journey. The coach has professional training on helping you find your answers. So typically the coach does not just give you answers. They lead you by questioning. And because they're trained, they know what to look out for. You eventually arrive at a place where you sort of understand what you ought to do. Now, in Nigeria, I do know there is ICF, International Coaching Federation, represented here in Nigeria. I'm not a member, so I'm not marketing for them is what I'm saying. But I know that there's a coaching federation that exists that you can actually approach. Coaching usually is not cheap. It is pricey because you're talking about professional help and individuals that have practiced and read up and have been trained to be able to offer you help. So you can, if you go online, you can do that. Your coach does not have to be physically present with you. I've used coaches virtually. It has worked all the same. I'm talking about a mentor. I've approached a few people in my life to mentor me. And one of the things to say about mentors is, as the mentee, you are the hungry one. And if your mentor is the person you think he or she is, she's probably very busy. So you need to be the one chasing. You need to chase, make time, be hungry and curious such that eventually you can strike that relationship and get the attention of your mentor. So these two people help you in very different ways, but it gives you a platform, almost an unjudging platform, to share issues and to talk through navigating the issues of career and life. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And just before we go back to Mrs. Charisse, Mrs. Tolu, somebody also asked about self-doubt. I know that we know the term imposter syndrome, where women feel like they are not enough, no matter how much you've accomplished. So I don't know if it's something that you've experienced. And for the women who have self-doubt, someone also mentioned how to, get your career to the next level. She's doubting herself. She doesn't feel she's enough. How do you respond to that?
Okay, so I wish my answer would be different, but it's not different. Have I experienced imposter syndrome? The answer is yes. Do I still experience it? The answer is yes. One of the things that I can see works in my favor, works for confidence, is preparation. So someone said when preparation meets opportunity, then you have magic. So as women, we need, unfortunately, to be ahead of the curve. In some climes, actually, a woman probably has to do twice the amount of work and show up twice as much to prove that you're just as effective. So being prepared, being well-read, being equipped is one of the things that then helps you as far as the imposter syndrome is concerned. But may I shock you, the imposter syndrome is not gender specific. There are men who till tomorrow, I read about Obama years ago when he was president, who said, even before every single time I have to appear on stage, I have that moment when I'm thinking, can I really do this? So if what's ahead of you is a big job and you're being asked, can I really do this? Some people will say, do it afraid. Because if you're not afraid to do it, maybe it's not big enough. So if it's big enough, you're going to have some butterflies in your stomach Do it prepared. Do it prepared. Now, how can I get my career to the next level? This would also shock you. I remember, it may not. I remember when I moved over to the UN in 2016, and I had a few friends actually reach out to me to say, how did you do that? The truth is, LinkedIn. So again, I'm not marketing for LinkedIn, but I have typically, at the point in time, I'm not your 100% on social media, but at the point in time when I'm planning and thinking about my next 5 years or my next 2 years, I will be very present on LinkedIn, and I will show my best foot on LinkedIn, and I will make sure that as I'm being reached out to, if I'm being reached out to, actually I am quick, I'm present. The profile I have out there is a real profile, it's not an exaggerated profile. I've had to correct a few ladies in my circle who are doing a certain job, and when they go on LinkedIn, they put themselves off as chief executive officer of a department. So that's not what you want to do. Nobody's asking you to exaggerate who you are, but appear the way you are on LinkedIn and make sure that your profile is saying exactly what you want it to say. What you want it to say. So the few times that I've had movements in my life, some of the times I've had movements in my life, it has actually been as a result of LinkedIn. The one more thing I need to say, Ronke, sorry for that, is the fact that networking has become so crucial, so crucial. Research says that jobs that come through referrals are actually land the best candidates. So you are as good as a network you build around yourself. So there's a network of the quantity of people you know, but there's also the network of the quality of relationship you're building. If you attend a conference and you exchange cards, you've simply just exchange your card. The question you should be asking yourself as a woman is, what am I going to do about this new connection? You need to build that relationship such that when there's an opening, someone remembers that they met you somewhere and actually they think you can do this job. So networking is critical for women. Men are better at it. Women need to get even better at it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tolu Aguirre. I want to acknowledge we have quite a few senior citizens in the room, actually. We have people who are saying, what do you do when your career is ending, basically. We have people asking about the pension scheme and all of that. So welcome to all of our senior citizens in the room. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure that you'll find some of the discussions very, very beneficial even to you. And if there's anything you can even share with the children, that would be fantastic as well. Cherie, someone wants to know, when I eat vegetables, I purge. Does it mean there's something wrong with the vegetables or there's something wrong with me? He said, the vegetables loaded with fertilizer. Every time she eats vegetables, she purges. Do you want to say something to that?
For some people, they are quite sensitive to vegetables. It also depends on what time are you eating it, how is it prepared. Maybe you should just take a smaller amount at a time and ensure that you're chewing very, very well. That's important. That chewing and being mindful and then not taking too much at a time, that may help.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see if I have more questions. Please continue to put your questions in there. I will take them as much as possible. Someone wants to know, how do you sleep at night with all of the generator sounds? I guess for people who are struggling to sleep, I think you may this is the reality for a lot of people. The generator sounds, so some mindful people in some estates will ask you to shut it down at a particular time. So if you live in those estates, you're very lucky. Let me see. I think someone says, this is for Mrs. Aguirre. When your husband doesn't want you to get a help, how do you navigate? I'm not sure if there's something that you had to face, getting a house help. When the husband says you can't get a help, and you obviously want to make your progress in your career, what do you do? How do you compromise there?
Okay, so without wanting to market Mr. Aguirre, I think from day one, we sort of understood that this was a partnership. And what I would typically say in that conversation is, if you don't want me to get the help, then how are you going to show up? Because you do have to show up somehow. And I know that even having this conversation, this simple one I've described now, having it with some men is equal to you're being disrespectful. But I have, like you said, Ronke, I am blessed. We have tough conversations where both of us actually put our heads together to think about what's the solution here. You don't want me to have help. In fact, I remember once I said to him, you know what, I could stop working. But I mean, you must just promise that that salary you're gonna drop it in my account every month. It was a joke. It was a joke. But I'm just saying. So something has to give. A man can't just say I don't want to help. Something has to give. But I realized this before we got married. I mean, something has to give. Yeah, because I'm not supposed to be subservient as a woman, because I think as women also we get it wrong there. I'm not supposed to be subservient. I'm supposed to be a helpmeet, and in being a helpmeet, we can have a conversation. So if we can't have a help, what can we have? But if you're already married, which is why I keep going back, okay? If you're already married, it becomes sensitive, because the question will be, did you not understand that was the way I wanted to run my home and things like that? I believe that life trumps work. I really believe that. And therefore, if for example, I had to make a choice and I did not have a choice, it was either my home or my career, I would choose my home. That's the truth. It is that important to me. I will choose my home. And for a lot of us, we have to sort of think about things before they even happen. So having that at the back of my mind, as long as it's not for selfish reasons, and I need to give up my career for some time to be able to advance the course of my home and my marriage, I would have done it if I had to. I didn't have to do it.
Wow, fantastic. All right. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask, and there are quite a few questions there about, for Mrs. Cherise, organic. We hear this used, especially when it comes to cream, Instagram cream sellers, organic. How do you distinguish between what is organic, especially even with fruits and vegetables? What is organic and what is not? Cream that's organic, they say it's organic. Herbs, even they'll say libido enhances, all sorts of things that we consume these days, all in the name of getting sexually active and all of that. So how do you distinguish between organic and non-organic?
Yes, thank you, Ronke. So one of the things you want to do is do a bit of background research. Really check that person's page, maybe ask them for the ingredients that they're using, let them know that, listen, you are allergic to certain things, so you need to know what the ingredients are. And if it is that you are very particular, maybe you have to go with those who do purely organic items, and that's what they have been doing. You see it on their website. Maybe you even visit their place, so you can just get a feel of, is this true? Because I do know that people can portray one thing and then do another thing. And then when it comes to your fruits and vegetables, certainly not by just looking at it, but also speaking with the person who is selling it to you. Ask them, see if they know a bit where exactly are you getting the produce to bring in. These sellers, fruit or vegetable sellers, know that yes, these things are gas, these things are sprayed, yes, it's fertilizer. They will actually tell you. There is an organic co-op. If you go on our Instagram page, we can give you that information so that you know the trusted sources. And there is also an Organic Association of Nigeria that goes around to these farmers and ensures their vegetation is organic and certified. It's not just a one-time thing, but they go around every couple of months honestly to make sure that the items are not fertilized.
All right, fantastic. And what really are the consequences of? Because I know the people say organic vegetables are. What is organic really usually is more expensive. Is there anything wrong with actually taking non-organic fruits? What are the consequences? Everything I eat be organic.
Okay, well, let's say this, Ronke. You just want to be as intentional as possible, as close to nature as possible. Because if you're not, that's when you find that, okay, am I having certain stomach issues? Am I having certain skin conditions? Could it be linked? Sometimes you have where you're just not feeling well, you're fatigued. It could be all these chemicals that are just into your bloodstream, unable to be detoxified by your liver because your liver is already overwhelmed. So the body knows what to do, but if it's overwhelmed and you're constantly taking in these chemicals that should not be in the body, certainly your body is going to respond in a negative way.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, all right. Another question for you, Cherise. Before you, we go to Mrs. Aguirre. Is microwaving food cancerous? We have this debate about whether or not to microwave your food, and then obviously to use plastic, bags, to freeze your food and stuff like that. What do you say to that?
Microwaving the food is not advisable. Have you seen when you put your food in the microwave and how it sticks to the plastic and how some of the plastic even is eaten out? Where does plastic go? It goes in the food. Also, when you microwave your food, the molecular structure of the food changes. So you want to go ahead and go to steak and put your food on the fire. That takes more minutes than to have any health consequences of use like microwave.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, I see some questions about Stanbic IBTC pensions. There are people who are going to be in the comment section responding to your questions. Don't worry. Those questions are not necessarily directed to our speakers, but about, Stanbic IBTC pensions. Don't worry, the managers are there and they're responding to your questions in the comment section. So if you have a question about, your pension scheme, Stanbic IBTC generally, you have a problem with, your pension scheme, you can put that question in the comment section as well, and somebody will actually respond to you. So don't worry, you're not being ignored. There are people who are responding in the comment section to people who have questions that are not really related to what we're talking about, but basically about your Stanbic IBTC pensions questions. All right. Let's go back to the Q&A's comment section. Okay, this person asking about how to get a mentor, but I think Mrs. Aguirre has also said something about coaching as well, about mentoring as well. Let's see. Okay, a lot of questions from Mrs. Aguirre, of course, is about people who have unsupportive spouses and partners. We have quite a few of this here. Somebody's talking about how her husband is not successful, while the woman is succeeding due to sheer hard work, and the husband becomes jealous and is threatening to end the marriage. I think you've sort of said something to this as well, but I think perhaps, what do you say? Maybe reiterate something about people who have unsupportive spouses, Mrs. Aguirre, especially specifically to this woman who says her husband is threatening to end her marriage. He's not successful, she's successful. So I'm wondering how, for people who ask, well, how do you want to eat? At least one person is successful. So what are your thoughts on this, Mrs. Aguirre?
Okay, I think the context is usually larger than we're able to share on a call like this. And therefore, I can't just give a straight answer. Like I said earlier, I think society depends on families. And therefore, I put a lot of weight on the family. But I also don't think dropping everything and the lapse of a man who is likely to still leave you. Because if a man lacks confidence, today is your career that gives him that complex. Tomorrow it may be your looks. So I would not be in a hurry to leave my job if I can see that the man is really being unreasonable. So you may need to seek deeper counsel with people that understand your context and not be in a. And I know a few people who've gone to the extreme of putting everything at the feet of their master, the husband, and the husband still ended up leaving. So you want to watch that before you take that very, very critical decision.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Cherise, Tony Adeshina wants to know how to store fruits and vegetables, especially in this climate. How do we get the most out of our foods before they go bad?
That's a very good question. So you can put your fruits and vegetables in an airtight container in the bottom of the fridge. It actually lasts longer. And then just make sure that you're buying small at a time. Usually for a week it will last. It may even last a bit longer, but ensure it's in an airtight container. That helps a lot.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mrs. Aguirre, someone here says, how do you know you're doing a damn good job? You talked about getting there before you can ask for a pay rise or anything. How can I tell myself, okay, I am doing without it being that I'm just over exaggerating what I'm doing, and my boss knows I'm doing a good job. I know I'm doing a good job. How do you know when you get to that point where I am doing a good job and I deserve more?
Okay, so I will share a few thoughts. There's no textbook answer to this one. The basic thing will be about how does the organization appraise performance? Have you crossed that line? Are you recognized there? Have you started to punch beyond your weight? Have you confused people about who you are? What I mean by that is I have had people who are not managers go into the boardroom, and you find executives start to argue. I'm sure he's a manager. I'm sure he's not a manager, because of the kind of interaction or content that this or presence that this person brought into the boardroom. So people can tell who you are, because you are really, as far as work is concerned, punching beyond your weight. I think you begin to sense that. A former boss of mine said she had asked her boss then, "Oh, you're not promoting me. I don't know why you're not promoting me. I think I'm a manager." And the boss said to her, "If you think you're a manager, just go and be a manager. You don't need my permission to be a manager. And just wait for the reward to catch up," which is exactly what she did. Today, she is a big woman in the organization. So it's about you concentrating on the work, not just packaging the work, because there was a period where people were also talking about being visible and being present. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you really doing a job that the appraisal system recognizes, and you're punching beyond your weight. Then you begin to sense, I think my value definitely valued.
Right, fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, before we go on, because we don't want to wear you out, there are people who might want to, are you on Instagram? What are your social media handles for those who may want to, because I see loads of questions for you, and unfortunately we cannot take, some of these questions. So how can people reach you on social media, or perhaps on any of the social media platforms, Cherise?
Yes, at Carib Health NG, CARIB Health NG.
Zakiri?
Sorry, come again, okay?
How can people reach you on social media? Is there a public platform that people can follow
I'm
you
reachable
on?
on
Or
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the most direct that I would see. Thank you.
fantastic. And so you can look for Tolu Agiri on LinkedIn. And you can follow Tolu Lope Agiri. Okay, Tolu Lope Agiri on LinkedIn. And I see a lot of you have questions for her, especially those who have questions about balancing work and home, and they're all valid. All valid. We're all walking in different lanes, and it's amazing to see somebody who's walked in that lane and has come out and can show us that it can be done. You can have a wonderful career and have a wonderful home as well. It can be done. And of course, thanks to Charisse as well, who's talked to. I see a lot of questions for you as well. So I'm sure quite a number of them you'll be gate crashing your DM with some of these questions that I see here, because obviously we can't answer a lot of them. So I want to say thank you for the questions. Thank you for the engagement. Don't forget, there's someone who's looking out for how engaged you have been during the session, and we have gifts for a few people who have been very engaging. But it's not over. We still have a poll that we're going to take. Obviously, with that poll, also we'll have a feedback survey. Would like you to also participate in. So please don't go away. So many of you are asking how you can get the recording. I will tell you in a moment, so don't worry. Just stay tuned. It's almost over, but do stay tuned. We will tell you how you can get the recording. But I think we can do the poll real quickly. We have another poll. All right, can we put the poll up? Fantastic. All right, the poll is live. We've got only 60 seconds. What are you going to do differently going forward? I'd like you to engage that poll real quickly. So if you're on an engagement streak, don't stop, because you might win something from us today. What are you going to do differently going forward? Are you going to slow down on work a bit and make a little me time? Make time for me, for you. Or are you going to spend more time with family? You're going to take your personal wellness more seriously, or all of the above? All right, let me see. What do I think? All right, please engage the poll as much as possible. I want to see, we have almost 1,000 people here, and not up to half have engaged the poll. So please go on. You just got a few more minutes. All right, a few more seconds actually, not minutes, a few more seconds. Please engage the poll and let us know what you'll be doing differently. The reason why we put this up is not just so we can come and hear Mrs. Aguirre or Cherise speak, but so that we can actually, do things differently. A great person once said, when you know better, you do better. All right? When you know better, you do better. Absolutely. So this is also that you can know better and you can do things differently. Okay. All right. I see quite a number of people said all of the above. So you will slow down on work. Are you making a pledge? You slow down work a bit and make a little bit more you time. You matter as well. Mrs. Aguirre said something that I will take away from here. A lot of us women negotiate on other people, speak on behalf of other people. But when it comes to us, become shy. All of a sudden, we become pious. Like we're martyrs, and then we become resentful at the end of the day because you see all the people that we have pushed for going forward, but we are still there. So you make a pledge to make more time for yourself, spend more time with family. Family is also important. And of course, take your personal wellness more seriously. We are going to share the recording to this event. We're going to share the recording to this event. But before I let you know, I'd like you to also engage the feedback survey that we'll put in a link very shortly. Okay. All right. Now that we've responded to the poll, thank you very much, everyone who's engaged the poll. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to listen to a closing remark. Please do not go. After the closing remark, I'm going to, a feedback survey will pop up as well. We'd like you to engage that survey as well, so we know how to do better next time. All right, so to give us a closing remark, we've got to the Executive Director, Business Development, Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers. Please welcome with me, Ibiyemi Mezu.
Thank you very much, Ronke. And thank you very much, everyone, to our over 1,000 clients that joined from across the world and from across the country. We do not take this for granted. We appreciate the time that you have spent with us. We appreciate the time that you have spent with us this morning. And I believe that you have found this session very, very useful. Let me also say big thank you to our ladies at the table this morning, Mrs. Tolulope Ajiri and Dr. Cherise Ijewere, for an insightful session. I have to say that all through I kept writing. I couldn't stop. And it's amazing that a lot of the points and the tips that you have both shared today is not just useful for people that are beginning their career or people that are advanced. It cuts across, and I found it very, very useful personally. So thank you for your time this morning. I think a key takeaway for me from Mrs. Ajiri is the importance of striking a balance. And she did say that, for you to have a great career and a great home front, you must make choices. And those choices, also have results. We must be able to accept those results and be happy to live with those results. And one other key takeaway for me, which I'm holding very close to my heart is, you can make demands when you're on demand. Women, we can make demands when we are on demand. Very, very useful. And thank you very much, Dr. Ijewere, for all the great tips on mindful eating, being intentional. I believe that we would all take this to heart, and we would find ways to improve, on our mindfulness. Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate your time, and we wish you the very best going forward. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much for that, Ibiyemi. We appreciate that, and of course, we'd love you, before you go, please engage the post-event survey. It's so that when we come back with another edition of Lattice, it's going to be bigger and better. So we need your feedback to know. I see some feedback here. I like your discussion, very educative. Thank you, Atta Blessing. Also, another one says, Olaomi Pupola says, thankful I was able to join in. Great to have you as well. Thankful for all of your feedback. So engage the feedback, the survey. Someone's going to drop it in the chat. So please engage it as much as possible. We'd love to know how impactful this session has been for you. All right, how impactful. All right, see, there's a link there that's just been posted. It's a link that leads you to the survey. It won't take too much of your time. I can promise you that. So, and remember, we're going to be gifting about 10 or 20 people who have been most engaging. This includes this feedback survey as well. So please don't engage and then lose the benefit at the end because you didn't engage the feedback survey. Thank you for all of your feedback. I see so engaging, so interesting. Love it. Enjoyed this. Thank you. Wow, informative, educative, wonderful. Don't regret being here. This is definitely water to our soul. Thank you very much. I mean, all of the trouble that's gone, into putting this together, it really is rewarding to see all of this great feedback. But please engage the feedback. See, there's a link there by Adidayo. He's put a link there. It's the feedback survey, the post-event feedback survey. Please engage that survey real quickly before we go. All right, please engage it there. And for those who want the recording, it will be shared to you as well in your email. Since you registered, we have your email, so that will be shared to you in your email, so you can watch back, and then anything that you missed, you can definitely watch back and get all the things that you missed. All right, so if you find that in the event chat, go to the event chat, you find the feedback survey. Would love for you to please fill it so that we can do better next time. We love feedback, and it's important for us as an organization. So please go to the event chat, and you see a link there. Every time there's a link being posted, that's the feedback survey. Please engage it real quickly. I'm doing that right now, and it hasn't taken me too much time. So please do that real quickly before you fall off the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who has been here today. I appreciate our fabulous speakers. Thank you very much, Mrs. Aguirre. Very impactful. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I'll definitely be connecting with you on LinkedIn. Thank you, Mrs. Charisse Ijewere. Thank you as well for such an impactful session. We appreciate that. Thank you. Please ensure that you do not leave without engaging the post-event survey. It's a survey that can help us to do better next time. We're coming back with an even bigger and better Ladies at the Table event series. I would love for you to also come back, but of course we can only do better when we get that survey. There's a link in the event chat. You must engage it as quickly as possible, because we didn't want to take too much of your time for this session, and so that's why we're all done. We're all done so that everyone can get back to their work, their projects, their businesses. So please fill the feedback survey before we go. Thank you, and thank you once again for such an amazing audience. You were engaging, you were attentive. Our speakers were fabulous. I mean, this is a moderator's dream. So thank you for being such an amazing audience. My name is Ronke Giwa Onafua. It's been lovely hosting this session. Thanks to everyone who's worked behind the scenes to make this such a huge success. Till next time, enjoy the rest of your day. God bless. Thank you, Mrs. Aguirre. Lovely to meet you. Thank you, Charisse. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Don't forget to engage feedback survey. Thank you.